this tonight. I know that as you're hate to say this, as you're coming in, I know that you're used to seeing a 5 minute countdown, or you're used to us asking, what state are you in, or all of those, all of that, all of the good stuff. We're not going to do that tonight. I want to go ahead and jump straight into our content because we have some great people up tonight. And we have a great conversation in store for you, right? So as you're coming in, just get settled, whatever you're doing, find a place of peace and find a place where you can really absorb this information. Tonight's gonna be good, okay? If you're a creative, I want you to self promote in this moment. So in the comments, I want you to go ahead and just write out what you do, who you do it for. If you serve a church, I want you to put your church in the comments. If you have a business, I want you to put your business in the comments. God has put people around people to push people. And so the answers that you've been looking for, the problems that you've been having, things that you've been looking to solve that you haven't been figured out, you haven't been able to figure out, there could very well be the answer to your problem in the comments. And so I want you to comment your business and comment what it is that you do. And I know that you came to get information today, and you came to get understanding on all of that great stuff. And I love it for you. And that's why we set it up. And yeah, we're pushing the campaign. And, every chance I get, we're raising $100,000 to start this network. But in this moment, I want you to be selfish, and I want you to shout out what it is that you do, who it is that you are, and what God has given you, your baby. And I want you to go ahead and put that in the comments. And I'm pretty sure that there is somebody that's going to be able to help you and help you build what God is doing in your life. I see somebody in there. We ain't gonna do this all night. I promise you, we ain't gonna do this all night. See somebody in the comments with Victorious Believers, Church of God in Christ. That's what's up. Listen, y'all keep on doing that. Here's what I want to do. I want to share it. I'm not asking you to. If you feel that this is of value and you feel that this is going to be good, or you're going to wait and make sure it's, listen, I ain't sharing it now. I'm gonna share it when I get about ready. That's okay. Whether it's now or later, I want you to give me 3 seconds because I want to share it, right? And while we're doing that, all of our guest panelists, I want to give them a chance to introduce themselves. They're going to take about 10-15 seconds, and somebody said they shared. Thank you so much. I want to give them about 10-15 seconds to go ahead and introduce themselves and let us know who they are, what they do, where they are. Credentials are important. A background is important, and understanding is important. And so I want you to know that the people on this stage, these are not any fly by nights. These are not any overnight successes. These are successes that have been built through the process of time. And so, oh, okay, I'm done. My bad. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
listen,
sorry,
y'all
man.
got it.
No.
No, 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 no. You're good.
No.
No, 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 no,
You know
no,
what?
no. You got
I
it.
was muted. I was muted.
I'm
for
gonna
a
go. I'm
long
gonna go on
time, man.
mute.
And as soon as I muted, I caught a little something right here, man. Just a little something. That was not for you,
What's
Sumo.
up, Thomas? What's up, man?
You, my
I'm
brother.
no, y'all go
Bro,
ahead. I'm out the
that was
way.
for you. That was for you, though.
The man of God got the floor. We gonna give it to him.
You know what? All right, cool. I'm JP. I'm from New York. My company is Supreme Creative Agency. We do videography, photography, live streaming, graphics, you name it. I tell anybody now we're solution based. So anything you have a problem with, we probably can provide you a solution. Whether we can do it or whether we have a sister business or sister company that can definitely handle it. Definitely Christian and born again, fire baptized,
Oh,
all that stuff. I had to put that in there.
I love it.
All right, who next?
I listen. Pastor Montana. So
All right, all right. I am Montana So. I am from North Carolina, born and raised. Been a couple places, but I am the director of a nonprofit ministry called the Prayer Connect Inc., where we started in the pandemic just as a prayer call, but we realized that we had a greater ability not just to pray, but to collectively do something together to serve community and to provide a spiritual habitation for people. And as I did that, it began to sharpen my ability to shepherd people. So now we are branching off into a city called Winston-Salem, North Carolina, just about 25 minutes away from Greensboro, North Carolina, and we are starting and planting our discipleship community there, and we're really excited about it. And I'm just grateful everything that God is doing in my life right now, and with my family. I'm just a grateful guy.
Yes, sir.
As the Holy Ghost.
Pastor Joshua.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
goodness. I guess we'll say the ladies for last. We'll say the best for last. So I am Joshua James. I am all the way in Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City. I have my own consulting firm, doing leadership development, doing ministry development, as well as event planning. So if you got an event need planned, let me know. If your church needs some leadership development, let me know. I currently attend New Life Covenant with my great pastor, Pastor John Hannah, my spiritual father. If you've never experienced him pray, join us for 4 a.m. prayer. Come to our 12-hour prayer conference. Or if you want to come to the one conference in a couple of days, you can come to Chicago. So yeah, that's who I am and what I do.
Love it. Oh, she, her right in time. Pastor Anna Linnell.
Right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Lord. Praise God.
We can hear you.
All right. My name is Anna Linnell. I am the city under Apostle Brian Meadows, one of the most creative pastors in Georgia. I have been the worship pastor and serving in the capacity of worship 2011. I'm also an artist. I'm releasing my album, full album, this Friday called it's self-titled and I'm super excited about it. I also have an album. I'm sorry, I also was on called From Grace to Glory, the story of a rose. So yeah, I'm just super excited to talk to all of the creatives.
Great.
Love it. Love it. Roundy, what's up, brother? Listen, we're going to jump right into it. I want to start here. I want everybody to just give a quick definition in your own words, in your own experience, and limit. I'm gonna limit you to 20 words. You have 20 words to define what a creative is.
Okay.
Now I will start choosing again. I'm just saying. I will start picking. So y'all come on and jump in.
Okay. A creative, on my end, a creative is a servant leader. A creative is a transformational leader. So I'm gonna stop there so people can think about what that is. So servant leader, transformational leader.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is just someone that is able to express themselves through their gifting. A cosmetologist is a creative, a painter, an artist, but also in ministry, in our ministry gifts, we can also be creative. So with whatever gift God has given you.
I would say a creative is one who has the ability to use what others look over and turn it into details that make something matter.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or make something greater, rather.
I like that. JT is going to be back when he's going to be back. We've been seeing a few technical difficulties, so excuse us as we work through the night and do our best to get this content to you. So I'll answer it, and my answer will be the same throughout this entire series. When we look at God, God shows us our first installment of who a creative is, and he looks at chaos and he creates. He looks at chaos and he puts a system in place, and he doesn't just put a system in place, but then he gives someone the governance to control and to push that system forward, mankind, right? And so after that, we see creatives in different elements. We see a Joseph, who is a creative, but he's not a business owner. He's not number one. He's a creative from seat number 2. And I want to jump right there because on with us tonight, Pastor Joshua James is one of the great. Listen, walk in it. Lift your hands. Okay, lift your hands. He's he's one of the greatest boardroom anythings that you can find anywhere. This is what I truly believe. I believe that at some point, if you are dreaming alone, there is a cap for you at some point. There is a place where you're going to need somebody else that can look at your dream and say, hey, I know where we can run. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just found one. And I've been in business for 7 years, and that's just how that goes. It takes a minute, it takes a while, but when you find them, you know, I found mine. And Joshua James has been that for years. And so tell us about that creativity, that leading from the second seat, to those that are, our culture, everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants their face on the flyer. Everybody wants to be in the front of the video, but there are many of us that are serving from the back. So help us through that. What does creativity look like when it's not seen? I do not endorse that glass of his. I don't know what's in it. And I told him I would say this publicly because amen. So there we are.
Well, I've served Pastor John Hanna for almost 15 years as a number 2. I went from doing stage design to doing props, to doing all of the conferences and events. And it took time to be comfortable in that seat. I would say to anyone that's on here that sit in that number 2 seat, be patient, trust the process. One, you have to have the oil of the house. You can't take Walmart customers into Target. You can't take Target customers into Walmart. It's a different thing. You also have to have the spirit of the leader. I was most successful with serving him because I had his heartbeat. I had his spirit. It got to the point where I was 3 steps ahead of him. Before he could even think or speak or he would give a look, I already took care of it because I knew which direction he was going in. And then the last thing is you have to have the heart for people. You can't serve in ministry and not like people. And that all ties in. It's the oil of the house. It's the oil and the spirit of the leader, and then also the heart for people. And it was just trusting the process. I did not get everything right. But I stayed submitted to him and what was important, his mission and his vision. He's the visionary, and your number 2, they should just simply execute. I always tell people we're not in the business of no when it comes to serving our senior leaders, but we are in the business of how I can make it work. I would get prop calls at Saturday evenings, and he'd say, I want a cage on stage, or I would want this on stage, and I wouldn't tell him no, I can't get it done. I would get it done, or I would say, hey, here's a alternative. I always say, if you're a number 2, you have the second, most important job. The preacher has to preach, but then also I believe as creatives who work the stage, someone's deliverance is locked up in our labor on stage. So if you're not in place, if you're not undergirding the leader, someone can get lost. And so it's a great responsibility, and I enjoy it.
Anybody want to add into that particular conversation? Just leading and not necessarily being seen, creating from a place where there is no visibility here. You do not get a pat on your back. This is just who we're going to work. Anybody else want to add in there before we move forward?
I mean, I believe everybody has had that process some way or another. I'm just now scratching the surface of creating and being creative because I was just a little preacher boy. But I started serving my pastor as an armor bearer. And it takes that. And what you saw with Joshua, he just exposed us to, he was not just a second-hand man. His servitude turned into creative sonship. And as long as you're exposed to people that have a grace on their life to pull greatness out of you, and they have the platforms to cause those graces to flow, and they give you that trust and they give you that exposure, there is a blessing that comes with that. So I believe that certain opportunities that have come my way is because of my years of servitude. When I could have been making my own name for myself, when I could have been doing a lot of things that people were recommending that I do. There were a lot of opportunities to be a youth pastor that came while I was in the midst of serving my pastor. And I had to turn a lot of those opportunities down, not because he said so, but because God said, this is not your time to move from serving your spiritual father. And you got to be attentive to that, and you got to have discernment. You've got to have discernment, because sometimes your creative ambitions can get in the way of what God really wants to do.
That's
within
really
your
good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good. Go ahead. Go ahead. If you got something, go ahead.
No, yeah, I just I just wanted to they spoke to of having the heart of your leadership, having the heart of the, and how important that is, and that there is a reward in that. Because a lot, all you see is the loss. You're saying no to a lot of opportunities. You're saying to book you, me as a worship leader, we want to book you on Sunday. And I'm like, no, I've committed to plowing and digging, at my house. I'm committed to this house, and it can feel sometimes like a loss, but when you in that, you're being obedient and being faithful to the vision those doors end up being small compared to the doors that God's for you, because of your obedience and because of the things that you turn down in the beginning. What being faithful will do, and you'll see that reward. People, the same way that you sacrifice for your leader, you'll find people that want and sow that right back into you. So I love what he said about your leaders. It's so important.
And there's a well, I'll say this first. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for as me and Pastor Hannah call it, him driving the car and me taking the back. Yeah. There were so many times where I was ready to do something.
Yikes.
But it had to get, and I'm glad Montana said this, I wrote it down. There's a great responsibility when it comes to daughtership and sonship. You have to trust them, and you have to let them lead the way, and it's not going to be easy. You are going to get rebuked. You are, it got to the point where I never took a quote unquote gig, an engagement, a client without running it by my leader first. And there were times where he was like, go ahead, use your gift, go forth. And then there were other times when I really wanted to do stuff, and he would say, no, you're not ready yet. And I'm like, dog it. But I trusted him, and later down the line, I would see why he would, tell me no. So for those out there that are serving, trust the process, and then, understand that you have to be submitted for a reason.
So help me with this. And JT, I know you've been having some tech problems, so maybe you jump in first. So help me with this. How, as you know, we're all exposed, everybody, the minor, the major, we're all exposed via social media to excellence, our perceived excellence. My brother Spud said it best in a post not too long ago. He said excellence is subjective. And so if I'm out in the country, excellence to me looks much different than if I'm at the Potter's house, or if I'm at New Birth, or wherever I'm at, right? And so excellence looks different. And so if you're someone that's serving, you're working, right, and you're seeing all of this excellence via social media, you're seeing Sumo drop a video, a shameless plug, you're seeing you're seeing JT do 4 live streams in a day, and they all look amazing because he's traveling with Black Magic cameras. You're seeing Montana wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning on Monday after church and going live with his new Black Magic setup and a microphone and all of these great things. You're seeing excellence consistently, and you're trying to pull that into your church. Like this is still a very real conversation. I had it towards the beginning of the pandemic, where leadership or churches or whatever were shunning technology advances. And at this point, it's still happening. So how do I begin to start bringing in a level of creativity or a level of excellence to a ministry that has demonized it to date? What does that look like?
That's a good question. But we know as millennials, the world runs off of technology, and right now off of social media. So adapting that to the local church is
right now was so key, bro.
Yeah, it's in New York, because we're a fast-growing city. Everybody's adapted. I mean, every church in New York is probably live streaming. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, hey, they're live streaming, okay? You know what I mean? But I think everybody here is kind of adapt. I'm not sure how it works in the Midwest and where you guys at. But ideally, everybody wants the bells and whistles. Everybody wants the lower thirds. Everybody wants the motion graphics. Everybody wants the Potter's house look, but nobody wants to make that investment. And that's the key thing. You got to make the investment. And I'm not talking just monetarily. I'm talking about wisdom and principles and policies and procedures and systems. And to the point, like Sumo said, unfortunately, in New York, we are oversaturated a little bit with churches. So the idea of me having to go to 4 locations on a Sunday is not ideal, but certain churches just don't have the staff. They just don't have the knowledge. They just don't have the input, nor do they have the volunteers. Jumping back to the sonship, not to jump back, but I came in a little late because my camera was doing a little something. But jumping back to the sonship thing, what I find out in this day and age and what I do, especially volunteers, you have to be bought into your church. You have to buy into your church. If you don't buy into it, it's pointless. But it's a shameful thing to buy into reels and buy into social media and not buy into the place that feeds you.
That's good.
And that's the downfall of where we at now. A lot of us, a lot of people, preachers and whatever, they see what Sumo does. They see what, this young lady does as far as music, and they like the finished product, but they never know the process to get there. So the word to the wise for anybody that's not streaming, you might want to jump on. It's kind of late in the game. You're about 2 years late, but ideally it is. I don't want to say, because I saw something today, Sumo, believe it or not. A lot of churches here in New York are kind of thinking this streaming platform, and we could talk about this, is kind of like subjecting them to have a production church instead of having regular church. So a lot of people not even streaming anymore out here. They just having church and going back to the regular basis. So that's a whole nother topic. But to answer your question, I think most churches know it's a necessity to have streaming platforms. If they don't, then you're going to be stuck in 95 and we in 2022. So,
but okay. So I'm gonna throw this around. Yeah, you did. I'm gonna throw this around the room. Joshua, you're here, Anna, you're here. 2 ministries that operate at heightened levels of, like, if you're watching Embassy live stream, prepare to be in the middle of chaos. Like, the camera is literally going to turn in a 360, like, while live. This is not for BTS. This is not for a recap video. While Anna is singing, you're just going to see Anna upside down singing, right? And so now the question, Embassy Worship right here in Atlanta, Georgia. I believe, just personally, and I love everybody, and I support everybody. Y'all know I support, but I'm just gonna be completely honest. Embassy Worship has to be the most creative worship environment in the nation. Like, that's just in my opinion, right? And so you're looking at all of these different things, and it's like, yo, how do we start introducing this to the home church? I'm gonna be honest. I had my bout, and maybe this will open up this will open up the conversation, but I had my bout. Many of you now know and love my dad, but 2-3 years ago, my dad was like, no, we're not doing social media. It's like, bro, like,
Sumo, you
It's a
scaring
whole
me.
pandemic.
Yeah,
You are
if I can
scaring me.
jump,
It's
if
a
I,
whole pandemic. Like
if I
what
can
you
jump
and,
in,
here's what I had to do. I had to say yes, sir. I don't know who
You had to
said it
submit.
earlier. I don't know if it was Montana or James. I had to say yes, sir.
yeah, you got
I
to
had
submit.
I had to. We had went live maybe 4 or 5 weeks straight. We were doing solid numbers for a church that just started going live. Of course,
Mhm.
because of our social media,
Yeah,
influence or whatever. And it's like, yeah, why are we on social media? Can you take that down, please? And next time, ask me before. We had a whole conversation a month ago, man.
yeah,
Right? And it's
yeah,
like, I had to take it down.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
could not respond. And maybe 3-4 weeks later, he's like, yo, can we talk for a minute? And he's like, yeah, so I really think that social media is the way to go. I said,
Yeah, yeah. But that goes back to what I
I
said.
said, are you
We're
kidding
the
me?
visionaries, and we're here to literally execute. I've had the same situation
Yes.
in times, but we have to do it on their terms. It goes back to what I
Yes, we
said
do.
earlier about
Yeah.
having the oil of the house. That's the most frustrating thing as creators because we want to bring all of these great ideas and the streaming
Yeah.
but you have to trust a leader and you have to submit. There's another thing that my pastor taught me. You cannot slam on the brakes when you're leading people, and I think the pandemic caused all of the churches to slam on the brakes and we had to shift elsewhere. He says you always have to pump the brakes. You have to pump
Mm.
get people there. So yeah,
I like that.
you want the live
I
stream,
like that
you
down.
want the lights, the camera, and action, but you just can't slam on the brakes and bring it. You
Pump the
have to
brakes.
coach them up into that. So I'll leave that.
Okay, that's good. So
Yeah.
practically, what does that look like? Like what does we need new audio, we need
Slowly
some
introduce
lights.
all of those things.
There
If
it
it's
is.
Thursday
There it
night,
is.
most people that are singers and serve on worship teams, you try your songs out at Bible study before you bring them on a Sunday morning. You got new worship leaders that the other worship leaders are building up. You try them out at a Bible study. Sunday
Yeah.
is Super Bowl Sunday, so you're not
Yeah.
going to be trying new things when you are going live. You have your great congregation, the mass of people there. No, you're going to try it out during the week. So it's a process. You got to take your time. So hey, we're bringing new audio in, on a weeknight. Hey, we're bringing, the screens in and new graphics and lights, and slowly introduce them to that. So don't slam on the brakes, but slowly pump them into it.
Nice.
Listen, I love that you said that because watch I say something that's way off right now because we're going to take a commercial break. Great. So here's what I want to do. I firstly want to thank my brother, the elder Mark Moore Jr. and the Young Leaders Conference for hosting our conversation tonight. On all platforms, we're currently around 58 viewers, and I'm grateful for every single one of you. The second thing I want to shout out is, and she already said this, Pastor Anna Linnell is pushing a new album in a few days. Now, she said it's coming out in a few days, but I want you to do like how I did. I want you to pre-order it right now. I already have the pre-orders. So by the time it comes out, I'm going to be one of the first people listening to it as soon as I wake up. Okay. And so I need to make sure, you need to make sure that you have this. She has a sound, and I'm telling you, I was at the live recording and I was also at her launch party, and it's going to be some amazing music. And last but not least, just in case you have not heard it to this point, we're raising $100,000.
Definitely.
There is no laugh, no joke in my spirit. I am 100% serious. And we are starting a network of content just like this for leaders, for entrepreneurs, and for creatives. And so I want you, if you feel that this is something that is helping you tonight, most have been giving at the $100 level. A good number have been given at the $200 and $500 level. And some have already given at the $1,000 level. level. And so I don't know what this vision is worth to you. I don't know what you feel this information is worth to somebody else, but I want you to consider giving and donating to that cause. You can do that with the link that is in the bio for this. Is it bio or description? In the description for this video, all via Facebook or YouTube, the links will be right there. And we're already saying thank you for your gift and your donation. And so I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about what's next. And I'm super excited about this conversation that we're having right now. Okay, so I want to make it a little, fun just for a moment. I want to make it fun just for a moment. Give me a time where you thought you were creative and it went the wrong way. Give me a creative dead end. Come on, JT. Oh wait, pause.
Sunday, man.
Pause.
Sunday was interesting.
I gotta go back to commercial break, y'all. Okay, so JT told me, he told me 2-3 weeks ago, he said, listen, I'm giving $100 for every week until you get 100K. And then he gave that day, and I'm like, that's $100. Then he gave the following week, and I'm like, okay, that's smooth. The third week, I wasn't even thinking about it, and he sent it in and was like, hey, I told you we're gonna get this done. And so I don't know if y'all in the comments, I haven't asked y'all to do nothing tonight. I do want you to put some claps in the comments for my brother, who's been consistent. People do not keep their word in 2022. And so we celebrate the ones that do. And so I'm super excited about that. Right before we launched, Pastor Montana sold some good money and put it in the ground for the campaign as well. So I'm thankful for everybody and what they've already done in our endeavor to push this vision and get this thing done. It will get done. That's not a question.
Get done.
How it's going to get done is up to God, but it will get done. I'm excited about it. Let's jump into it. Creative bloopers. JT said he bloopered on Sunday. I'm excited about this one.
Well, number one, before we can go there, seriously, I believe in you, Sumo. Like seriously, I
appreciate it.
And people don't even know we probably met top of the year, something like that.
Top of the year,
yeah, something like that. But I believe in you. I believe in everything you stand for. I believe in your vision, and I believe in Sumo TV. So anybody out there that want to match me $100 a week, we got to get this studio. We have to. Yeah. And when I say we, I mean as a team. We are a collective. Us creators are a collective. So we have to come together and support one another. But going back to Sunday, so I decided I was doing a live stream for a church, and I thought it was a bright idea to put the drone in my stream. And I was just like, now let me think this through. Now, being a creative, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do it. We outside, we have a church event. Now we did it the first 2 times. I wasn't really sold on it. And when I did it, it came out dope, but then we had the pattern after it. Now, looking back in the moment, I was like, yo, this is killing. This is dope. I went back to see that replay. I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. This is kind of weird. So I definitely would say that's a blooper. But we have them all the time. It's just the fact of the matter that you got to understand that the bloopers you have to be yours, and the obvious audience can't realize it. That's how you win. Anybody else?
Oh, y'all don't feel like telling on yourselves tonight?
Oh, I got a couple more if y'all want.
Mine actually also has to do with the drone. I had to use a drone in the sanctuary during one of our worship experiences. So hundreds of people.
That's
in a building,
real tricky.
And, we trying to get some crazy shot. Got somebody in the corner.
That's real tricky.
Yes, it's technically like illegal. It's technically not
technically it is.
But we tried to do it, and it was short. It kind of malfunctioned and flew into the congregation.
Ooh.
And hurt. Nobody was hurt, but let's just say that was our last time.
Heard you.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Drones in the building are real weird.
Yeah.
I'm normally real careful when it came to doing props, because I understood how important the assignment was, and so being a planner, I took that very seriously. But when it came to creating like different activations and creative experiences in the lobby and things like that, I'll never forget, we had a church anniversary, and we decided to have a DJ on stage before service. And so obviously I'm handling 90 million things. And so I told the DJ, I'm like, long as it's clean, go ahead, play it, thinking the DJ would know to play gospel music. Well, it's before service and the DJ decides to play Beyonce Love on Top. So I'm running around props, getting things in order, and I just see people running towards me. Pastor wants you in the back. Pastor wants you in the back. So needless to say, we started service, and I told the DJ, "Thank you, God bless you," and we we handled that. But yeah, they played Beyonce right before church started. And
Oh no!
Please pack up immediately. Please pack up all your stuff immediately.
Now here's the thing. Out of all the songs to play, that song wasn't too bad. There are some songs that could have been played.
Yeah.
Huh?
Come on now.
Who's taking it? Pastor Montana,
Right,
what you got?
right. I don't even think I don't even think that album was out yet. But the DJ was talking over the song, so Jesus is you. Like, no, it's not working.
Got it.
I mean, yeah, I'm sweating just thinking about it, because I went back there, and Father in heaven,
He didn't think that one out.
Oh no.
He didn't think that one out. He didn't think that one out at all, actually.
Yeah. So, but it was people at the altar. They were jamming. They were ready to go. Hey, you got people up in here. Yeah. So.
Hilarious.
Oh no. Pastor Montana, what you got?
Okay, I'll give you something real recent. So Sumo has helped me a lot with. I gave him my vision, and he gave me the list of resources that I needed for my vision. We ended up taking care of that giving campaign and getting all the media equipment within a month. Due to great subscription communities, and we can get into that later. But
that's a conversation.
In the power of partnership. But I got these black magics and got real excited. I was so pressed. And I was only streaming with my Canon M50, and that was doing an amazing job. I still love that Canon, but it's collecting dust now. But I got this camera. I figured out how to hook it up, figured out how to connect it to the streaming software. And I said, you know what? Let me just test this out. And because I am who I am, I ain't just going to test it out through no private link. I said, let's pray. let's do a prayer stream.
Let's go live.
Let's go live.
I don't even do my private subscription community prayer stream that I normally do. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just showing off, just in the flesh. And I started streaming on Facebook Live publicly. I wasn't on that 50 seconds without my connection going bad. I didn't even return, because I was like, the Lord don't want me praying publicly. He knew my spirit was wrong. That connection was terrible. I had people texting me talking about there's a lag, and then it just shut off.
Oh my, yeah, he wasn't feeling that.
So I just went to bed.
Defeated.
Sound like a good night. Sound like a good night. I believe to switch us back in a conversation. I believe that graces that we acquire work wherever we go. I think that the skill set that's being used at the time can change, but the grace, whatever grace we operate in, that grace follows us into whatever domain we're in. I believe I have a grace to gather, right? And so if I'm in the podcasting domain, I'm able to gather. If I'm serving under my father in ministry, we went from We went from not doing a live stream to having our services and doing services at Embassy City. Now, if anybody knows anything one more time about Embassy City is not your average live stream. This is LED walls. This is dark church. I don't hear the saints saying nothing. I don't hear the saints saying nothing. This is dark church. I mean
Smoky
dark.
church, smoky.
I mean pitch black church. Can't see myself. Okay, and so we went from one to the other, and bringing together intercessors, bringing together psalmist, or whatever, 2022, everybody you're not a Levite, you didn't come from the tribe of Levi, okay, whatever you want to call them tonight, just bringing them together with one thought, to worship and to get to God, right? And so in that space, able to gather the same, just wherever, same grace, same gracing, to get things done, always in the spirit of excellence. I want you help me out right quick in just pouring for a moment. What does it look like to pick up your gifting, not your skill, but your gifting, and to move that gifting into different rooms and be whatever that room needs for you to be?
Good question.
Say that one more time. Just say
They're
it one more
speechless.
time.
I think I did all right. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. We did. No, like, what is it? What does it look like picking up your gift, not your skill, right? Because so many times we look at someone that's skilled and we say, "My God, what a gift!" That's not a. They have to work to get that. But what they set up, I'll take Anna for an example. The gift is not to sing. The gift is the atmosphere, right? And she can do that with the atmosphere, with her singing, but then she could go into the workplace, and with her creativity and with her mind, she can shift the atmosphere and conversation. Same gift, different operation, different skill set, different room, right? And so talk to me, help us out, those that are watching, those that are listening, those that will watch or listen in the future. What does that look like, operating in gifting and taking it around? We're on Young Leaders Conference tonight, dealing with 3 M's: media, marketplace, ministry. What does it look like moving those giftings around in those different spaces?
I think it's with where you are, like you said, taking that anointing with you everywhere that you go. Your anointing only works in the sanctuary. Is it real? I mean, does you have to be able to impact and touch people in the grocery store? We have to be able to prophesy or do whatever it is that we're called to do wherever we go.
Yeah.
And continuing to yield to Holy Spirit in, like I said, in church, side of the 4 walls. I think a lot of times we tend to turn him off, or I don't want to say average Christian tends to turn him off once you leave church. But speaking, Holy Spirit still needs you to move on his behalf, the voice of God, even outside of church. That is where the real work starts. I'm saying a lot of the times my pastoral role really taps in, is people calling me at 3:00 in the morning crying when the real ministry starts. That's why you have to kind of stay on guard and stay ready. And I think that's how to, kind of keep it active, is by staying alert, staying aware when you leave church.
Yeah,
that's real.
I know. I was always told, and I say this, and I hope people can understand it. You should use, when you serve in ministry, and you're serving in your gift and your grace in ministry, use the church should be used as like a runway. That's where you are able to prepare. You can load your luggage up if there's any technical difficulty.
Okay. Pause. Because you're really about to help somebody, but you ain't gonna do it in code. So pause, because you've been in Morse code all night. So I want you to. I know it. I want you to talk to the 3-year-old, because no, like in real life, you're really about to help like 15 people. Because what you're about to say right now is Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're watching, listen to this and English, please.
So I'm going to use the example of an airplane. When you are at the airport, that's when you load your luggage up. You go through security, you go through the policies, you go through the processes. You're on the airplane. The pilot, which is you, you're checking all of the systems, making sure everything is correct. If there's any mistakes or anything, any issues, you're going to catch them while you're on the runway, i.e., you're in church. The minute you get outside of the airport, the minute you're in the air, there's no turning back if you have a major issue. So same thing for us creatives that are serving in the church. We should use the church as a runway because there's grace there if you serve in a ministry that that gives grace. Grace should be there. If you fall, your leader should be there to pick you back up. And then that's where you perfect your gift and your grace, and then you can go out into the world. I serve at, different ministries now and help them with leadership development, but I had to fall, at my home church. I had to learn the spirit of the leader, the oil of the house, the heart for people at my home church. I could not go out immature. Again, that's going back to submitting and sonship. I had to submit and know how senior leaders operate. They want to preach. We're here to execute. So that's basically the gist of that.
Good. To piggyback on what he's saying, Sumo, I definitely concur with what he's saying for everything he said. But my pastor always teaches your skill and your gifting will get you in the door, but your character will keep you there. Absolutely. So ideally, I want to attach character to that because gratefully and humbly, I have been in some opportunities, some doors, some rooms that have literally shocked me. And I'm like, JT, what are you doing here? Now, I'm not the greatest photographer. I'm not the greatest videographer. I'm not the greatest graphic designer. Everything I do, I'm not the greatest at what I do. And I tell people that all the time. It's just that I'm humbled to be in the position I am and maximize the opportunities I have.
Yes, sir.
And to be honest with you, even from starting from day one, it started with graphics. Just to give you a backstory real quick, started with graphics. My clients didn't have professional pictures. My photographer was too busy, so I picked up a camera. Same thing with video. My clients needed videos. The videographer was even too expensive. I was like, let me hit this button on my camera real quick and see if this worked. And then from there, took that and merged that with graphics. So my skill level was increasing daily, but my gifting and my character really held me in position to basically sustain where I'm at in life financially, and also just period. Dealing with different clients and different people, you want to have that gifting skill set to basically mirror your skill. If it's not, I almost say mirror, let me say marry. If it's not married together, it's pointless. You can have a great skill, but have a terrible character, and your gifting will get you nowhere.
That's good.
Yes.
Pastor Montana, you sat up like you had something.
I mean, what he was saying really just sparked something in me, because character is a big deal and it is critical. And because the church has become, for the most part, very creative, it has put more of a light on the platform. So now the platform is glorified and magnified, and it is causing a lot of people who are not mature in the faith, not mature in character, to desire what is seen on the stage with the LED screens behind you. There's more photography in the church now. We want to be on those pictures now. We want to be the one with the mic in our hand with that nice picture, and we want to get that treatment. And then you got a whole lot of people that's chasing ministry opportunities for content, and character was never a priority. Being a solution was never a priority. Being an answer, being a deliverer is not the priority anymore. Being content creators is the priority now. And I'm sorry, but I don't respect your ability to be a content creator when your purpose was neglected.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can't expect character if you don't teach character. So this is for any senior leader that's out there. You can't expect something from your team. You can't expect something from your congregation if you don't teach it. And so that's for the senior leader. You're going to have to teach character. If you see something in a leader that needs to change, you need to take the time to pull them to the side and say, hey, I see X, Y, and Z. How
Right.
can we shift you in a
Right.
different direction?
Now, let me use that
I
in the
think-
opposite, Sumo, 2 seconds, because he said something kind of sparked something in me. But for the Christian curative, just be careful and be prayerful, because and I can tell a story without telling a story. I have worked for a lot of people, and sometimes you work for people that really are not saying anything, and you kind of got to make some stuff up to make it make sense, or they're not living a lifestyle that makes you want to be creative for them, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I would say for any creative, especially in the church world, be really prayerful about your assignments and what you attach yourself to, because as soon as you do that flyer, as soon as you do that video, you
put your name on it.
Connected.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So be
sir.
really careful. And Sumo, I gotta tell you a story, not on live, but you will be shocked that
As soon as we get off.
somebody I work for that's in media now, but I'll tell you later. But literally, I am so grateful. When I say I am grateful, I thank God that my name is not attached to that. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah. Real quick, Sumo, for the number 2 or the servant leader out there,
Yes, sir.
you have to realize that as soon as you mount the platform, as soon as you decide that you want to be on the front line, you want to be a number 2, your life is no longer your own.
Yes, sir.
I would say if I had
Yes,
any
sir.
challenge throughout this process of serving at the feet of a great man of God, a great leader, someone is always watching where you are, what you do, what posts you like on Instagram, what you're posting.
Talk
on
about
Facebook.
it, man. Talk about it.
So as a millennial
And
leader,
who you're with.
it's hard. Who you with, where you're traveling. And some people, we know how, people come to church with hurt. They come to church with mess.
Yeah.
They come to church with all different types.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for, so they can be
Right.
transformed. And so they'll say, oh, we saw X, Y, and Z at X, Y, and Z, and that may not be the case. But you always have to be 2 to 3 steps ahead, watching where you go, who you with. So for the millennial leader out there, or just a servant leader in general, you have to have that, as I say, a come to Jesus moment with yourself and say, is this what I want? You can't be upset if issues arise and things like that, because it comes with the seat. If you don't want,
Yes, it does.
just get out the seat and just be a pew, be a bench member. So it comes with the seat. It comes with the responsibility. Your life is no longer your own.
Y'all just tapped into something, and since we're here, we might as well go. I believe this is a piece of branding. It's a part of branding. One of the many things, of course, that we'll be covering as we are having these conversations and launching this network, which you can help us launch. Like I said, I'm wasting no time with that. But no, like in all seriousness, something was said. I got to tap into it. Keep your creativity close to your leader. Like, really hear me here. You really can go down the wrong slope and not even know it. You really can connect yourself to something innocently and find yourself in trouble. Keep your creativity close to. I don't do anything, major, minor, without asking my dad.
That's what I said.
I just don't. I just don't. And if it doesn't feel right to him, it just ain't. It's not gonna happen. It's just not going to happen. And I have seen, it's 7 years now. I have seen time and time again. I have seen things sink, and I had just jumped out the boat. I've seen it time and time again. Or I've seen something sink that I refuse to get on boat with. Time and time. Keep your creativity next to someone that has the ear of God. And I know this is not this, this wasn't necessarily meant to be church, but it's in all everybody you see on the screen.
It's in there, man.
There is a level of God, right? And so keep your creativity, keep your business, keep your plans, keep them next to first of all, you need to hear God, but keep it close to someone that can see something that you can't see. Like it is absolutely like, Anna, don't put that out now. Put that out in a year. And then don't come back trying to argue it. the blessing is in the instruction. And so if you're gonna do it with a hard heart, you may as well not do it, because whatever blessing was going to follow you into that following year is going to wait for the next time you're going to be obedient, right? And so just while we're here, keep your creativity next to your leader. And we were talking about senior pastors earlier. You will see what you are or who you were. I don't know who said it earlier, talking about, hey, if you see this, you need to, get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of that. But if it keeps on coming up, I'm not talking about mistakes. I'm talking about a culture. If you see a culture around you that is based on certain negatives, you gotta check your history.
Yeah,
and
but
I
you
mean,
have to check your history, but also know your assignment. There's
I
something
agree.
called managing up or coaching up. Our senior leaders are not perfect, but our job,
Not.
and this is for the sons and daughters. I understand that everybody that works in the church, they're not sons and daughters of the house.
Right.
And senior leaders are not perfect, but as a son, it's our job to, one, cover them. It's our job, two, to know them so you can manage up. So if you know they, may not spell check and check their sermons and things like that, and they need to get it to, to production, you
Right.
be the gap filler and you do that.
Right.
So even when it comes to integral things, if you're dealing with that in your, in your business and your ministry, learn how to manage up, but then also just know your assignment, because it's quick. As creatives, we're in something now called the Great Recession. People are leaving their jobs, they're leaving their ministries, they're staying home to stream, because you can stream 15 churches in one Sunday and be okay. But please know your assignment, because it may not be your time to leave your leader's side or leave the ministry.
I agree. Anybody want to add something right there?
Montana. He got a word in his belly. Yep. Go ahead.
Speak, man. Let it out. Let it
He
out.
started rocking side to side. So
He looked like he was stirred, didn't he?
he was stirred. Go ahead.
Let it
Yes,
out, man.
he was all in my business. I mean, we come from the same track of submission. I mean, growing up, I've been preaching and in ministry since 15 years old, and being brought close by my pastor. His name is, I keep calling him my pastor, but his name is Bishop Brian Pierce, there in Greensboro, North Carolina. Has changed my life, and I'm forever going to honor this man, because he took a chance on me when there was no Pastor Hannah to take a chance on me. When there was no other ministry gifts that were taking a chance on me, he took a chance on me. Before people knew me for prayer, he was having a teenager open up his services in prayer. He was having a teenager lead prayer services, and this is a mega church. Just to put an emphasis on the risk you're taking and causing a 17-year-old to stand in your pulpit while you're gone. At 17 years old, when you look back at that, you realize this man took a chance on me. And what the enemy would like to do with people that are submitted is to distract you from the value of your leader and have you, because my leader's an introvert. So I went through a season where I was being distracted by the enemy to feel like my leader wasn't good enough for me because he didn't communicate to me like I wanted him to communicate with me.
Wow.
And so I had to check myself and check my spirit, because I was about to do something and go somewhere too quick that was going to hinder me from so much, because it's a blessing in being planted. It's a blessing and being planted. Even in the process of planting this church, I still put ministry invitations before my leader. I said, I'm going to submit these invitations and these engagements to you until I'm fully operating in this, because I'm still coming to this church. I'm still in this house, and there may be days that you're relying on me to be in place, and I need you to be aware I'm not going to be here. And there's a son and there's a daughter that may be on here right now I don't know what you do, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in creativity, whether it's even in the marketplace. Some people lose their sonship spirit and mind when the opportunities and the platforms get big. Let me tell you something. When Pastor Hannah reached out to me and said, you're coming to 12-hour prayer, the first person I reached out to get that approval, to get that grace, and not even approval, but to get that blessing, because it's not about approval, it's not about permission, it's about the blessing. Because there are certain moments that you can get, but you'll fail at, and you won't be able to reciprocate those moments because you never got the blessing. And so it's all about getting the blessing. So I went to my leader and said, hey, Pastor Hannah has invited me to this, and I would love to have your blessing to go to this. I received that blessing. Now I'm secure in the moment, not because a man blessed me, but because somebody God has anointed for my soul, and to look after my gifts, to look after my soul, to look after my mind, has given me this blessing. And a lot of people, that's how they lose their fathers. That's how they lose their leaders, because you think you've arrived when a certain platform has come, when a certain opportunity has come, when a certain connection has come. That's where you see a lot of people getting all these different fathers. This your spiritual father.
Talk, man. Talk.
This your
Talk, man.
Oh God.
Give him the screen.
Oh God.
You are an opportunist, and your father
Ooh.
is. Your mentor is where your opportunity is. And it's not based on impartation anymore.
Yeah, we're not submitted. And I mean, it goes back to the generation that we're in. As millennials, we're like, hey, education is free to come by. Listen, I'm educated. I'm talented. I don't have to deal with this. I can leave and I can go. I can go elsewhere. I can go to another ministry. But what you're running into is a molester in the spirit. And so you're going to run to these ministries. They're going to molest your gift.
That's how y'all feel tonight?
They're going to send you on your way to the next ministry. That's going to molest your gift and send you on your way. So
that makes a lot of sense, man. And my pastor always says, submission begins when agreement ends. And a lot of times, and just listening to the conversations here, it sounds like 10 years. It sounds like these, you guys have been with your pastor a long time. I've been with my pastor since I was 14. And by the grace of God, he has, like, literally between the pandemic and now, he has released me to do some things. And most of you guys probably know I follow Reverend Sharpton, which is, I consider my leader as well. Don't get it twisted. He is definitely my leader. But ideally, my pastor is my father figure. And literally, he trained me from day one to how to do what I'm doing. And to the point, I'm not sure who made it earlier about practicing. I literally practice everything I do: graphics, sound, video, streaming. Everything came through that church, and now I'm able to reap the benefits of what I'm trained to do with other people. And when I say me reap the benefits, I reap it, financially and things like that. But the people that I work for actually reach the benefit. They benefit also from the skill set that the church and my father and my sonship and my serving taught me. Not the industry, not the world. It came from the church. And literally, some of the same people that I work for in the world, per se, literally are benefiting from a church boy that literally just follow one man.
Wow.
That's major.
Apostle Andre Cook. Let me just
that's major.
Because I don't think everybody said they passed his name. My pastor is Prophet Andre Cook, Life Chapel, Queens, New York.
Everything starts at home. Everything is birthed at home. The first website I ever made was for my father. The first graphic I ever made, a graphic at his book cover at 9 or 10. His first website at 11. Photos. Everything started at home. Yeah. And there's just a grace when you build the house.
Absolutely.
His job was to dream it. Once God gave him sight to see it, he was done. And I think what we can't okay, y'all made us turn a corner. I think what we can't do as sons, as builders, as those that come in, even those of us that say we're creative and we're pushing ministries and churches and whatever else that we're doing, what we cannot do is act as if, oh, you're not holding your weight. No, they envisioned it. They're done.
Yep.
They are done. And if you feel like you haven't given me enough authority to do it, you haven't given, because they don't trust you yet. And so there's a conversation to be had for the fact that you haven't received the trust to sit in the seat that you covet.
Yeah.
You covet a seat of power. You covet a seat of influence. You cover the ear of the leader. But every time you hear something, I love what he just said. Submission starts. Give me that one more time. Submission starts when agreement ends.
Submission begins when agreement ends.
Until we at odds, I don't know if I'm submitted to this yet.
Exactly.
And they don't know if I'm submitted to it yet. And why would I hand what God has given me to someone that I am unsure of? And I'm unsure of their motive. I'm unsure of their discipline. I'm unsure of their heart space. I'm just unsure. Why would you hand something God has given you to someone you're not sure of? And so, as creative as we might be, and as great as we might think that we are, I'm with JT. There's somebody better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit here and be completely of everything. Of everything God has allowed me to do, of everything that He's allowed me to build, of everything He's allowed me to shoot or do, whatever the case may be, there is somebody waiting. There for every David is another David. There is somebody waiting for me to slip in my posture.
Listen.
Somebody is looking. They've learned. Listen, you're gonna be waiting a long time. But somebody is in the balance waiting. And the truth of the matter is, I'm with JT. I'm not that great. I'm not the best videographer. I'm not the best photographer, not the best graphic designer, not the best planner, not the best web designer, or whatever the case may be. But He's put a grace on me to get things done. And I'm getting it done under the grace that He has placed on me. And so if for no other reason, I will remain covered to maintain my grace. My grace is connected to my covering.
Yes,
And
sir.
for whatever reason, we take a corner, just like y'all said, when we start seeing these high profile people start being connected to these. Whenever you get to that stage or see that stage or you come in contact with that stage, all you've seen is a moment.
A moment.
Yeah.
All right, y'all don't.
I
know Montana's in the house on this one. Anna, I know you're in the house on this one because you're itinerant and you move. And as big as what we've seen is to date, because I ain't there. I am not there. And the truth is, as much as people feel that I should be celebrated, I'm not even close because I know what He showed me.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm still in the season of preparation.
That's a fact.
I'm not there. And so I understand if I brush up against Bishop Jakes, I understand all I did was brush up against Bishop Jakes. I allow it to be what it is. If I'm working with such and such, I understand that it is grace that has placed me here for a moment to see if I'll steward it well. I'm gonna leave that. How do we deal with big moments? Because they happen. How do we deal with coming into contact with big clients? Matter of fact, social media has placed us one DM from anyone. I need you to hear me. We are one DM away from anyone. You are one, hey, tell so-and-so that I want this. You're one call away from everyone. But you don't need to make that call. I'm going to leave it alone. Y'all help me out. What does it look like being in a place where you're building and refusing to jump the process?
Jesus, Sumo. Say it one more time.
Man, stop doing that.
What are you talking about? What? Say it again.
What does it look like coming against big moments and making sure that the perspective is right And then what does it look like when we're dealing with the access that we have and not abusing our line of access to jump the process?
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. Because you went through this process with me before
Yes,
you
sir.
got into your giving campaign. We did our giving campaign.
Yeah.
And it was so many people I could have asked, hey, I need this. Can you do it? And they probably would have said yes if I asked them because the relationship is there. I'm talking about people that could have wrote a check for the whole campaign and it wouldn't have hurt them. But God had me in a situation where he was like, you're going to have to trust me for this next level of your vision. You're going to have to trust me with this and not just take matters into your own hand. And let me tell you something. It was right when we reached the goal from individuals sowing into this campaign that my bishop comes to me after a service he had just preached. He comes to me and he says, you got everything with the campaign? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, let me give you an extra 5,000.
Jesus.
He said, let me give you an extra 5,000. And I broke down in tears, not because of the amount, but I broke down because the amount was great. That was overflow. We had already reached the campaign goal, but
Right.
that was overflow. And I began to cry because I was like, I'm not in this by myself. And I'm so glad I didn't abuse my connections. I'm so glad I didn't beg because the very thing he said, I have to give you this because I saw my son take initiative.
Ooh.
Because our leaders have a whole bunch of sons. Our leaders have a whole bunch of sons. Come on now, Joshua. Our
Hallelujah.
leaders have
Praise
a whole
God.
bunch of sons.
Yeah.
But just because they are sons don't mean they are trusted.
Yeah.
My
There's a whole bunch of
goodness.
sons that can have their hand out and our leaders will give them the money.
Yeah.
Sure will.
But
Wow.
I would not trade the heart of my leader for his money.
Work out.
I was literally about to say,
Work out.
we have so many
Work out.
sons.
Talk,
They
man.
can have the money, they can have
Work
the
out.
access, but one thing I have is the oil. So it's
Listen.
gonna happen.
Woo.
It's gonna happen because I
Take
have
what
his
you want.
oil. Take the money. I have
Take
his
it.
oil.
Sumo just got done saying he was like, I'm David. It's a whole bunch of people that's qualified, just like David. He had a whole bunch of brothers that was qualified externally.
Yes, sir.
They had
Yes,
the
sir.
look, they had the charisma. David was out in the field, but nobody could do what he did. You can wait to take my place, but the oil still isn't gonna flow.
It won't work.
This is good.
You can take my look, you can take my sound, you can take my
Man.
approach. You
Man.
can photo ops with people I know and people that have given me platforms.
You sure
and you're
can.
still not gonna get the opportunity that I got
Talk,
because
man.
Yeah.
oil isn't going to flow. The oil flowed with David. It was particular. It was specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turn that keyboard on, Sumo. Turn it on right next to you, man.
Yes.
Nah, that.
Hit the switch,
Nah,
man.
that. Cause we gonna be cause
Yes,
we gonna be here
sir.
all night. We ain't gonna. No, we're not doing that. Mm-mm.
You can take everything else, but I got the oil. That's all I need. At 12-hour prayer, Montana was there. I had left 12-hour prayer, and I think I was talking to you, bro, before I left, and I was like, I'm ready to go. I said, but I think the prophet has a word for me. I said, but I gotta
That was
get home.
crazy.
I gotta let my dogs out. I said, but the prophet got a word for me. Nonetheless, I left. 30 minutes later, my phone is blowing up because the prophet prophesied, something major. And a part of me was obviously shocked because I had never met him. And he was point on with my description of who I was, but I wasn't shocked with what he said because of who my leader was. If you know Pastor John Hanna, you know Pastor John Hanna, and I'm gonna leave that there. But I wasn't shocked because all streams from the top. So goes
Right.
top down. So I was like, I received the prophecy, but at the same time, I know it's coming. I always knew that. I stick close to him. I
Right.
study him. I study how he handles adversity. I study how he handles leaders and betrayal and just different things like that.
I'm too close for it not to hit me.
Too close. And I pattern myself after him. That goes back to your question earlier. How does grace run, when we go to different rooms and different
Right.
churches, different,
Right.
arenas? I literally pattern myself after him because I've seen him go through from 0 to 100. I mean, you guys know we just recently opened a $26.5 million facility, and it took time, not because of finances, because New Life has a cash anointing, but it was other adversities that was trying to stop us, and I seen him go through it. And so now when I have issues, I'm like, oh, this is nothing, because I seen my spiritual father conquer it all. Yeah. So,
Anna, you want to put something in there?
I'm speechless, but what I mean, y'all,
Which is on her album.
right? Wiggles.
That was a great plug. Listen, I think we'll hit one more thing and get out. And all we're going to do is go back and grab something that we touched earlier. And we're talking about branding and what we're connected to. It's really tough. It's really tough, especially James, you can speak for this. Matter of fact, Anna, you can speak for all of you. Never mind, all of you in your space with your grace can speak to this. If I give my gift to a space in 2022 with social media and how things work, it is assumed that I have lended my influence to this space. So now what happens is I've given my gift to this space. It is assumed that I've lended, my influence to this space. And now we are attached to each other.
Mm-hmm.
If something happens over there, I get calls over here about what's happening over there. Regardless of whether it was me or not, I am now getting reached out to because I have now made that. I want you guys to talk about that for a minute. And once again, this is probably going to go back to being covered because some things we just cannot see. Some things we just do not know. And there is foresight, or sometimes there's just don't do that. It's just that simple. Why? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but don't do it. Right. Which keeps us out of something. But branding, we talk about branding, take your headshots, go do a commercial video. But branding is every time we connect to a platform, connect to a voice, connect to a sound, connect to an individual, we have branded ourselves by saying, hey, I endorse this. If I make a recap video for your event and I post it, I'm saying I endorse this. I endorse them. I endorse this individual. If Pastor Montana Soul sees your invitation and says, I'll come pray, by his presence, he's saying, I endorse what's happening in this building. And so talk to me about how careful we have to be with that. We're wrapping here. Talk to me about how careful we have to be with that. And how we need to just be, the word is careful, honestly. How careful should we be and how aware should we be of what we're attaching what God has given us to?
Yeah, my serveship is connected to the labor of my leader. And this is a transparent moment. It's frustrating sometimes because I literally earlier this year was in the middle of the ocean. I was on a cruise and someone randomly walked up to me and was like, John,
okay, wait, get back into the story. But quick pause. I got to take this moment. My mentor, Apostle Vincent Powell, is in the comments. Many of you probably don't know him because he doesn't run with the churchy-est. but he won with some of the great test, period. I'm excited that he's on. I also want to note this. Everything about how we branded everything about how we branded the intro and the initial push to the $100,000 campaign was him. Everything from the placement, I was in here doing all kind of things, switching things out. So I was bare. I had nothing. As you can see, still kind of bare. And so he was move this here, put that on there, put that on there. I had already done the shoot for the commercial for the 100K, and it did not come out right. And I was a little bit low about how much we spend and all that happened. And he was like, yo, you will not self-sabotage. I need y'all to know this. I need you to know this. Who you are connected to matters.
Yes,
Please
sir.
hear me.
Yes,
Please,
sir.
I'm begging you to hear me right. James is going to close us out and give us his story. Then Montana's going to give us 3 points in the close. And then JT is going to speak in tongues and get us out of here. But I need you to know, I really need you to know who you are connected to matters. And that man right there, I just need y'all to know publicly again, and it's going to happen again and again. I am grateful to be connected to this man. And James, the floor is yours. I apologize. I had to do that.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so I was literally in the middle of the ocean, and someone came up to me on a cruise and was like, John Hannah, you go to New Life. Literally, in this season of my life, everywhere I go, someone identifies me. They identify me being connected to Pastor Hannah. And so now I'm starting to realize my life is no longer my own. I'm connected to this ministry. I'm connected to this gift. I'm connected to this grace. I'm connected to his oil. So I have to be careful everywhere I go. Like you said, our closing word is careful. And it's frustrating as a millennial, but it's going to be worth it in the end as long as you stay close. So my last 3 points, you can tune me up a little bit for the millennial leader.
Close it, Doc. Close it.
For the millennial leader, stay submitted. Stay submitted to the house. Your gifts. Stay submitted to your leader. Stay close. You need to learn everything that you can while you're sitting at the feet of your leader. The way I do business, the way I interact around those big name people is because I watched my spiritual father. And then know the role of a son. Know your role as a son and as a daughter. Like you said earlier, people are going to come, people are going to go, but know your role, know your seat. One thing that I know with my spiritual father, he has a heart for people. So he pours and pours and pours into the people, but those that are close around him, he expects you to be running with them. So you may not always get an accolade. You may not always get that hug that you're looking for. You may not always get that hand clap that you're looking for, but you have access to the oil. And that's the most important thing.
Now, I would say to cover all that you were getting out of us, what I'm learning personally in this season, with what has happened in the past few months, what God has been showing me is you will protect yourself from being connected to the wrong thing by not being busy.
Yeah.
Because, oh God, can I say this?
Go ahead.
You're here.
So
You're here.
Especially in the Black church, it's almost, especially in ministry, it's the goal to look itinerant. It's the goal to look busy. And a lot of people that are itinerant aren't really itinerant. They just accept everything. Mm-hmm. And what the Lord has been freeing me from is don't desire to be overbooked. Desire to have quality opportunities.
Yep. Know your worth.
Because if I can be at home with my family and get a quality invitation where the hospitality is going to be quality, the congregation is going to be quality.
Somebody going to serve you a muffin.
Not a muffin.
waiting for you at the door.
Someone comes to serve you a muffin, Montana. Yeah.
At the door.
Listen, I would much rather not be considered itinerant and have quality relationships
Yes, sir.
within my area of service, within my area
Yeah.
of purpose, and not be considered so busy. A lot of people get connected to stuff because they're just so busy. Just stop saying yes to everything
Woo.
at the expense of having the look. And that's a whole nother topic of having the look.
So I can have
At
something
the
to post
expense
on social
of your
media.
peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will tell you they post them itineraries, but they only post about 2 clips from those itineraries.
Because the other ones was in Humpty Dumptyville.
It ain't.
Y'all
I
don't
was
want-
trying to
Right.
Hey,
find
don't
the
do the
right
country
way to
because
say it.
sometimes the country will treat you right now.
No. I'm talking about quality. I'm not talking about location.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm not talking about location. I'm talking about quality. I'm talking about, and not even this. You shooting with a mic cover.
And let me tell you something. They want to post it because they flew in to this engagement and the pastor picked them up with the children in it. Got the children in the
Hotel
back seat.
6.
You asking what do I get that when I land off this plane? They make you come to the car. They don't even welcome you inside the airport to tell you where to go.
Come on, man.
I don't mean
And
to
didn't
sound
raise your
spoiled,
honorarium.
but that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Come on, man.
You know, red.
Where we been?
That's why they're not posting all those, engagements, because they just taking everything for the look.
For the look.
And don't tell me, do not do this with me. Don't tell me that you go into everything because you respect all churches and you respect all engagements, because that's not true. That's not true. You are going
Talk,
My
man.
God.
Talk, man. Don't
My
stop.
God. You're there, so
people are using itinerant ministry for hustle, and I'm gonna tell you why. Don't tell me,
Jeez.
do not tell me you care about ministry that bad that you accept everything and you care about all these churches because you use the same sermon at these churches.
Yeah.
And I feel it. And I feel the same sermon.
I went
I
on
feel
one
the same sermon 5 times.
preaching this. I go to the next stream of this service, and you preaching the same sermon
man.
at this. You went to all these churches in 1 month and preached the same sermon at 4 of those 5 services, and you didn't preach the same sermon at the 5th one because the 5th one was a bigger ministry.
my God.
This is good.
That's how you
See, this is why. Never mind. This is why I'm not really in the clique. Because I talk too much.
Yeah, Francis. That's it. Yeah, Francis. The business was not handled, okay? The business
was not handled.
the business was not handled.
They taking anything so they can pay them bills.
Well, you have to. I will add this. I add this on top of that. Just know what kind of brand you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I also don't want this to feel like if that's your brand, be about what you're about. I've come into a place where I am comfortable with whatever you feel that God has given you to do. Listen, okay, pause. Amen. So here's what you can do. We're raising $100,000. There's a link in the description. You can give at that link. I'm gonna leave that up. You in the spirit.
I like that.
You in the spirit. You in the spirit. You in the spirit. So I'm gonna leave that. Listen, that will stop any show this month. Okay, if you just gotta mention money. No. Seriously, that's in the description. But to each, I have learned. To each their own, but for you, I'm as a creative, as a leader, as an emerging thinker, as a builder, you feel that God has called you to do certain things in the spirit of excellence. You have to be okay sitting still. There are I've come from the 6 out of 7 years of being an entrepreneur. I've done 3 to 7 gigs a day. I need you to hear me. I've done 3 to 7 gigs a day. It wasn't until I learned the power of my no that the quality of the gigs changed. I
Talk about it,
really
man.
want you really tap in here.
It's powerful.
Really tap in. I'm gonna go out one time in the week or twice in the week, and I will make what you've made in the month. Simply because what God has allowed to happen in those 2 times will bless the rest of my month, because I've decided, hey, I'm not going to take everything because I got to pay a bill. I'm going to follow God, and I'm going to make sure I can. It changes. Okay, JC, I gotta go because
No. That make a lot of
it
sense.
changes. Here's where it changes, and Francis is in here. It changes when there's other mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Because what we have learned to do, and I'm very careful with the love your neighbor as you love yourself, because the first thing I've started to do is analyzing, how do you love yourself? I may not want your love. And I realized that there was a time in my life as an entrepreneur, I didn't love myself enough to make good business decisions as far as how I was able to be used by others.
Yeah.
And so I was fatigued because I didn't love myself to the place to say, hey, I value myself here. Not to say that, if we got to move this around, we can move it around, but to like just completely say, hey, I'm going to take 5 gigs at the price of 1 because I
Right.
got to make this money. No.
Sumo.
At some point, you have to learn the power of your no, and it's going to change as a creative business owner, entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, as a leader. The moment you learn the power in your no, that is the exact moment you will stop being used. It is that exact moment. The moment you say, hey, I am valued here. This just is not going to work. And understand this. There's so many people that reach out to you, so many people that I want this, I want this, I want that. For me personally, I'm not talking about Anna. I'm not talking about James. I'm not talking about JT. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just did something for JT at no cost. Didn't mention money, but we're in a relationship.
It's a fact.
I can't tell y'all what Anna's received coming to us, and what we're in relationship. It's not the same, but I don't need to say yes to everything. You don't need to say yes to everything. You got to sit down and you got to figure out, hey, am I going to be mass production or am I going to be top quality?
Yeah.
Hey, I love that. I love the gospel of top quality. I don't.
Which one is it going to be for me? Am I everywhere doing everything, or am I doing quality things that make sense across the board? So,
and if you don't,
Pastor
have
Montana,
Sumo, if you don't have the confidence or strength to say no, get somebody around you that can. I know, being transparent with me, I have a hard time asking for my money if somebody is running late, or they're not paying.
Not that.
But I have I have a team.
I gotta leave you out there, Doc.
It's okay, but I have a team.
I got to have the invoice paid, man.
For those creators,
before I get there, I got to be paid.
Those creatives that struggle with that, have a team that can take care of that for you. Have somebody who can take care of that.
Staff your weaknesses.
Listen, because that's a weakness of mine.
Staff
I'm
your
okay
weaknesses.
with that, but I'm confident in other things. And then also, listen, my spiritual father, my pastor, came to me and said, listen, if they are not paying what you're asking, don't take it. If they're not going to pay full price, don't take it. Don't go. And it's not about the money, but he taught me about worth. You have to know your worth. And with worth comes money and worth. And again, like I said, I struggle. I see that in my contract, somebody is due a final payment on the 15th. And I'm like, well, that could be, that's the no, but I have somebody who will take care of that for me. So for that creative who say, you know, I'm not confident, they're making
Yeah.
it sound like it's so easy. It's okay. Just build your village and let your village help you push this vision and this brand that you have.
That's an important point. And I just
That's
want to jump
good.
on something that Sumo said. Because I know somebody is a creative is watching that's saying, okay, I'm watching Sumo, I'm watching JT. I know y'all say y'all want that quality, but they don't have the finances. Now, I want to distinguish being a skilled, someone that's skilled but incompetent, because there's a difference. I need you to be, most of my creators out there now, I want you to be skilled, but I want you to be competent in what you're doing. And competence is knowing what to do, when to do, and how to do.
Yes,
That
sir.
doesn't mean you need, you know, $5,000 cameras or $3,000 cameras. It's
Yeah.
about reaching that level of quality at the competence level, not at the amateur level that I'm skilled, but I don't show up on time, but I'm skilled, but my camera's blurry. Like, you have to be skilled and know how to use the products you have to get the quality you want. So for that creative out there, please, whatever you do, we want you to be creative. We want you to express yourself, but there's a pathway to get where you want to get to. And just like my man just said, you have to find that village of people that is doing what you're doing. And I tell anybody, anything that you do for me, from graphics to sound to cameras to whatever, I have a mentor in literally every aspect. So if anything happens,
Man.
I can call Sumo. I can call the Obed James.
Man.
I can call
Your
Christie.
village.
Ask
Your
ask that questions about how do I reach that competence level, that I'm not just producing something that is substandard to the quality and standard that people want to see.
Man, mouthful. I refuse to stay stagnant on my level of perceived excellence. Perceived excellence. I might be the visible one, but I'm in a circle of at least 10, 15 videographers. And the truth is, in my mind, I'm the worst one.
Me and you both.
Be completely honest.
Me and you both.
A group of photographers, in my mind, I'm the worst one.
Yeah.
If we're thinking critically, thinking analytically, bringing ideas to the boardroom, and I'm in the room with James, I am number 2. James is
Now,
in my mind.
But wait, Sumo, we have to go back to that spiritual point of being.
Go ahead.
You got to go back to that spiritual point of being a son. And having the favor of a son is different than having the favor of someone of a jackleg off the street that is trying to do the trade that we do. You're not going to reap the same benefits that I have.
I hear you.
And that gifting that I have is totally different.
I hear you.
From what you have, because my level of service equaled this opportunity.
I'm a son.
Joshua
James is a son.
I went to my church right before this live to make sure my pastor's mic was right for his service that he had. And I had to come and make sure that I was good for Sumo.
That's it.
Oh, listen.
I think that raises another point. Show up, and I'll try to give Anna a second to tap back in before we close it, because we're done. Give yourself your brand the level of integrity to show up the same every day. And so on Monday, I show up at 10 for New Birth. On Tuesday, I show up at 10 for the no-name nail shop that you have no idea of that I'm making a commercial for.
Consistency.
I don't change the mic. I don't change the mic placement. I don't bring out my phone because nobody knows her. No. I don't ask her questions I wouldn't ask New Birth. If New Birth wants a finished final product, I give her the same product. I show up the same way on Wednesday. I show up the same way on Thursday, Friday, Saturday to my dad, who doesn't even have social media, which means he has no social media capital. I show up the same way on Sunday in a million different seats because I'm working all those seats. Show up the same way every day.
Can I add something to that?
Please.
What I heard in that was just like we make a covenant with God, which is a whole nother teaching. You got to make a covenant with your brand. And the way you do that, you need to put something, it's as simple as putting a responsibility, a task before you that involves your brand on a weekly basis. For you to show up on time, And for someone or a group of people, a team of people, a following of people that be dependent on you to show up to that thing.
Yeah.
Because that is going to develop your tenacity to always be excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes back to your circle, your village, who you submitted
Yes.
to. My business thrives now because I saw how my leader operated within his business, his ministry. We've
Yeah.
never canceled. We've never canceled a 4 a.m. prayer. We
Never.
never. There were times when we were in there and the heat was a little shaky. We was in there praying, walking the floor. So I patterned my business after the way he runs the ministry. We serve in excellence. He leads in excellence. Every wedding that I produce, I've been producing weddings since I was probably about 19 or 20, and none of my weddings have ever started late. If you put on your invitation that your wedding starts at 3 o'clock, that's the time it's going to start.
Love
But I
that.
learned
I
all of
love
that
that.
because of my leader. So you can't be out here by yourself. You can't, as my pastor would say, you can't do this thing alone. You need a village. You know, you
Yeah.
can't just learn excellence on your own. You have to have a village that you can bounce off of. And if you are in a ministry that serves in excellence and present excellence, all you have to do is just sit in the house like this and just literally get the oil that is in the house, and your business will flourish.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's so much to add, and that's why we're starting this network. And so if you want to be a part of what we're doing and you want to be a part of the giving, like I said, most people have given at the $100 level. A few people have upped it to 1,000. Some have been in that 200, 500 area. And I just want you to know we are grateful for every single gift. This could have been a quick hitter. God could have graced it. It could have passed 120 by now, but God has allowed this thing to just move how it's moving, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for every single dollar. Do you hear me? Every dollar has been one person saying, hey, this is worth something to the future, and I'm investing in it. I'm grateful for where we are. We're currently, I believe, at least at this moment, or at the moment before we went live, at the $8,025 mark, and I'm grateful for it. I've seen some campaigns that, amen, they've been campaigning for decades, and the campaign is still going. And so I'm grateful for what God has done to me, I feel like, in a very short time, and grateful for what he's about to do. If you want to be a part of that, that option is in the description. You'll find it tagged in the description. Also, our assistant, she put it in the chat, just like James said, literally bringing people that will fill those weaknesses. And so you can do that. I also want to say again, thank you to Elder Mark Moore Jr. and the YLC Community Young Leaders Conference, both on Facebook and YouTube, for letting us air tonight and giving us some space. We'll be right back next Monday and next Tuesday. Some weeks we're doing only Tuesday. Some weeks we're doing Monday because of the people that could not do Tuesdays. And so next week we're back Monday and Tuesday. And last but not least, she was not able to make it back in. She's been fighting through tech issues all night, and I'm grateful for her. But Pastor Anna Linnell is launching, pushing out her album in a few days. August the 19th, I believe it'll be live, but the pre-order is available right now. The pre-order is available right now. And I want you to go get that. I've gotten my pre-order already. I have put my money in. I am waiting for it to go live, and I will have access. And I want you to do the exact, look when she comes back. See, this is a spirit. This is a spirit. Look who's back, y'all. Look who's back, y'all. Y'all can't tell me this ain't the enemy. Huh? Y'all can't tell me. Y'all can't tell me. And so she is launching that, and I want us to really throw our support behind her. And those that are in I have, for the last few years, I have supported with no motive. Like, if I see a post that I feel like is a good post, I'll share it. If I see a cause that I feel is a good cause, I'll give. If I see something that's out, and not with the intention of, oh, when I do something, they gonna support me. No, I've done it because I felt like it was support worthy, and I want you to have that same spirit tonight. And go on iTunes and go pre-order it. Okay. I want to do this as well. JT, I saw you, JT. I want to do this as well.
I downloaded it. This is it, right? Yeah, that's it.
JT just did this in the last 2 seconds. JT just put
I got you.
JT just put another $100 into the campaign. JT, where you getting all this money? I need to move to New York and work for JT. That's what this is.
Studio, man. No. As soon as the studio is big, I am now. Let me just put this on public record. I am the first person that will be shooting. Okay, just be clear.
Come on down, bro.
Hey, JT,
come on.
JT about to have some stuff to write off his taxes.
Listen,
I'm over here doing the work of the Lord, man.
Right off.
The goal is to knock this campaign out.
Yeah,
I'm sewing 100 too.
I appreciate you.
I was just about to say.
I know that's 2.
100 tonight as well.
Well, I can't be around givers and not give.
Here we are. I appreciate all of it. Oh, because they checking Cashapp these because we ain't gonna do that tonight.
I could be
they be lying in the comments. We giving with you. I ain't seen nothing yet. I ain't. Where'd you give it? Where'd you give it? I put it on. You gotta check. You gotta check them on Cashapp. Listen, somebody in the comments, Lynn, I appreciate you. You know I love you. Jessica Clements, the live is over, and you can definitely go back and watch it. Those that jumped in a little late, you can go back and catch it. And these folks, they did their good talking tonight. Okay.
I was just about to say, if you
is big deal, bro.
Yeah, if you need to have Jessica Clements on. She is amazing. So she is. Have Jessica Clements.
Let me follow her too, Jessica Clements.
You need Jessica Clements.
1 second. Done.
Let's do that right now.
Let me see. Right.
She's a preaching machine and a singer. And she's not a singer. No, she's not a singer. She's a worshiper, but she's a preaching machine.
She can preach.
I need you guys IG too. Well, I guess I can get it offline. But
we don't get it.
You want to follow
Burnett.
Hey, we technically offline right now. Okay.
All right, good.
Listen, I want to say this right before we jump. Let me do that first because y'all know I'll forget. Welcome to SumoTV. Just got her on the gram. Listen, I want to thank every single one of you for showing up and for pushing this. We've had great numbers all night, and I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for being a part of this. Like I said, we are back next week. We're back on Monday. All I'm gonna say is it's Tim Clinton's night. You should know what that means. You should know what that means. It's his night. I'm letting him run the show. It's his panel. It's his guest. And so amen. Amen. So I would definitely be watching. And we're going to be right back at the same time. We'll be back at the same time on Monday and then the same time on Tuesday. And I am super excited. Thank you. The panel that's given, I don't know what to say. I'm thankful. And for those that are in the comments and you've decided to give, I'm not going to see it until later, but I can tell you right now, I am very thankful. We are thankful that you said, hey, this dream is worth the investing in. And that's why we're doing this pre-launch series to get in front of the people and let you know this is the kind of content that's coming. It will not be like this. I'm about as tired of Zoom as you are. Come on, somebody say amen. Say amen.
Amen, brother.
All right. And so I'm ready to do these from barbershops. I'm ready to do these from city views. I'm ready to do these inside of buses. I'm ready to do this on a whole nother level in other spacing. My mind has been racing all pandemic. And I'm just glad that God has finally put wheels to the vision and we're going to drive. And so I'm excited about that. Thanks for jumping in. We'll be back next week. We love you. God bless you. See you soon.